YouTube, this is Charles, and this is my on-screen debut for the channel. So, as the title of this video suggests, I am in fact doing a video to preview of my Metrocon footage. Or not a preview, but an introduction. Before I talk about the footage I have, or mention any of it, I wanted to very briefly discuss my history of anime and what I've been watching, or what I have watched. My first exposure to anime came in the early to mid 80s, which, you know, should tell you how old I am. And we're talking the time of Transformers Generation 1, we're talking He-Man, the original He-Man, G.I. Joe, Real American Hero. And the first couple series I encountered were in syndication, and they were Tranzor Z, Voltron, and Robotech. Very, very different from the three previous American cartoons I just named, even though the animation houses were kind of linked together. Yeah, very dark. Excuse me. But, and I guess it was the differences that made them stand out with me and still stay with me to the point where Robotech for a long time was my favorite anime until that was replaced by Ranma 1/2. But, you know, life sometimes does things its own way, and I ended up moving from the city where I was able to watch those shows out into the country, and I went from 20 or I guess 25 channels to 4, which were the 3 networks: NBC, ABC, CBS, and PBS. And I'm not bitter about that at all, really. So you didn't really have many options until we got like satellite TV, and I was able to watch, you know, the actual footage, episodes being beamed from the satellite down. That's one of the reasons I developed a fondness for Sailor Moon, was I was able to watch it being beamed to stations from, I guess, the master satellite, or the master relay channel. But out in the country, in the town I was in, you really didn't have many options for following anime. I mean, the best you could do was hope you would tag along to your parents to the video rental store. Well, there's a novelty that doesn't exist anymore. And you might be able to go look in one of the sections, and they had a small little section called Japanimation. All one word. That should be another clue of how old this was, or how far back this was. And you had stuff like Ninja Scroll and a bunch of stuff that, quite frankly, no teenager should watch. Really, nobody under the age of 21 should be watching, because that shit will mess you up. Not to mention, there'll be swearing in the video. And that was it. Until I became, grew up and became a teenager, of course. And I got my own license, and I was able to drive back to the town I used to live in and visit the store called Suncoast Motion Picture Company, which again was gone out of business. And Suncoast had a big display of anime that you could buy and watch. And it had a lot of stuff I had never seen before, like Airbats, UN Squadron, the Robotech, of course, all many volumes of Robotech, Voltums, which I haven't watched, but I kind of want to. Just lots of stuff. It also had the other thing that introduced me to a different side of anime, and I'm going to show it right here, and that is this wonderful magazine, America, published by Viz Media, I think. And I know people are going to say Viz Media is terrible and all that. What you fail to understand is, back in the mid to, I guess, late 90s, there really was not even remotely close. And I'm just kind of like, you see, there's the Magic Knight Ray Earth one, there's the Ranma 1/2 special, Poly special, Pat Labor, and Sailor Moon, of course. We really didn't have the access to anime and even manga that people did nowadays. So you kind of had that. And you had magazines like this, and if you're fortunate enough to live in a larger city like Los Angeles or San Francisco or New York, you could readily maybe find even the import manga. I wasn't, so I didn't. I did have access to something else, though, besides America, and I'll come back to that. and that was fan subs. And fan subs back then were not the fan subs you see on Crunchyroll, or even the ones you can download via torrent. They were, and I'll get you down here and get this. This. Now, title on here says Jackie Chan City Hunter. Okay, it's the live action adaptation of the City Hunter manga starring Jackie Chan, and one of his regular co-stars is the villain. The title of here is not what's important. What is important is this is the format you had to get series that were not available in the US. And essentially it's a VHS cassette that people were using, I believe, tape. They were recording directly off the airwaves, or they were recording off Laserdisc. I know for Pioneer that was kind of a thing, the Pioneer series like Tenchi. And they were, subtitling it that way. A lot more involved, and I don't know all the particulars, but this was how you got it. And what happened is when you got a volume of one of these, people would stick like the openings of different anime into, I guess, the preview section of the tape. And that's how I found Magic Knight Ray Earth. That's how I found out about 5-Star Stories. That's how I found out about the Slayers. That's how I found about Gundam Wing. There was a lot of stuff that was just, on those fan subs that we couldn't. It's how and this format is how I watched a lot of anime. I watched Fushigi Yugi this way. I think the entire first season, I think, or most of the first season, like the first half of it, right up until Miyaka runs into Yuki again, I think. He runs into the other set of Star Soldiers, I think. Yeah, that's about where I left off with the fan subs. I watched a lot of Dragon Ball like this, Dragon Ball Z. That's how I saw the movies with Janemba, or is it Gogeta? I don't know, the one with the earring, the fusion dance one with Goku and Vegeta, and how I saw the guy that Gohan kills with his Super Saiyan 2 form. The guy that was released from the 4 Kai were killed. And King Kai was killed. That guy, I can't remember his name. It's how I could watch Sailor Moon, like the Sailor Moon R movie was done on this. And the important thing to realize is, this at the time cost you anywhere between 15 and 20 bucks a tape. And you had, depending on the quality of the tape, you could get maybe 4 episodes, you might get 6 episodes. If you're really, really, masochistic, you might get more than that. But, thanks to the settings on the VHS tape, things got harder and harder to watch. So, aside from that, you had, going back to Animerica, the reason I will defend Animerica, and I will bring it back up because, as it relates to Metrocon, is that Animerica, as you can see, I'm just going to use the Evangelion issue here, kind of was like my first real exposure to a couple of different things that that Metrocon showed off, and I'm just gonna show off right here. One of them was manga. This is Galaxy Express 1999, I think. Nope, not 999. So, yeah, this was the actual first real exposure to manga I had. Sad or not, you can make your own decisions. Of course, later on they replaced this with, I believe, X 1999, so that may be where I'm getting things confused. So, the other thing that was kind of popular, and then let me see if I can find the bookmark since it fell out. Yep. It's kind of hard to see, but it's cosplay. Cosplay in color, no less. And the final thing that was you were guaranteed to get in every issue was a voice actor profile. In this case, Paul Dobson. So there you go. So you got a couple of things that, at least 2 of which, the cosplay and the voice actors that continue every year at Metrocon, and the manga. That was something new, especially the sister magazine to Animerica was called Game On, I believe, and I think it was a sister magazine, or maybe it was started by someone else. I can't remember. I'd have to go dig up the issues I have to find out. I don't know where they are. But that was kind of, that was just kind of a glimpse back at the past. Let's take a further look at the past, but not quite that far back. We'll go back to Metrocon. This is my second year attending, so I spent the day, or days rather, just wandering the halls, usually wearing this, the Complete Selection Completo Sector, and occasionally I will have my DX Perfect Sector in hand. This actually appears in the best combination attack you will never see. Well, you'll see it, but you'll never actually see it, if you get what I'm saying. And let's see what it was. Okay. The other thing I was going to show off was the what I got signed and what I got. So we'll do what I got, the swag that I actually got, and that was one thing. This lovely little piece of, I guess, bead art or pixel art. I'm not sure what you call this. This is Zero Suit Samus from Metroid. Cost me $20, and it was from Artist Alley. Wonderful, talented artists put this together. They also put together a much larger version of the Link sprite from Super NES Zelda. And I really, really wanted that, but at the same time, I'm not the biggest Legend of Zelda fan. Not because I don't like the series, I really like it, but I wasn't going to just buy something just for the sake of having it. There are people out there who are bigger Zelda fans for me that piece would mean a lot more to. So I decided not to. One thing I did not decide to do was skip the autographs. In fact, I hit all of them. Some of them more than once. But we'll get to that. So I guess the big surprise this year was the return of Laura Bailey and Travis Willingham, who had not been at Metrocon in, I guess, years. I'd missed their first appearance, apparently, and I was lucky enough to catch their return. And for them, while everybody else, for people were bringing up things, I don't know, I guess from Full Metal Alchemist and other things, I wanted them to sign this. And this was, or is, my Street Fighter 4 Collector's Edition box. And you can see, there's Laura on the front. And over here, we have Travis, because they voiced Chun-Li and Guile, respectively. I also had Laura sign something else, an old character she has not had the opportunity to play in way too long, unfortunately, and that would be Rain from Blood Rain. And she was really surprised to actually see somebody had this, so that's nice. Also making their return to Metrocon after only 1 year was Nolan North, and like a lot of people, they brought Deadpool out because that's who he is. Although he's also in, I guess, Nathan Drake in Uncharted. I don't know, I haven't played Uncharted. I do have a PS3, I just haven't hooked it up and started playing any of the games for it, strangely enough. I'll get around to it. Or I'll just get a PS4. Probably the biggest surprise, aside from Laura and Travis, was we had Stephanie Shea and Robbie Draymond, who are the new voices for Usagi slash Sailor Moon and what's his name? Mamoru slash Tuxedo Mask from the new Viz dub of Sailor Moon and Sailor Moon Crystal. And let's see. I had this sign. I've had it over here actually. Okay, now here, the bad thing for Robbie is, as you can see, this is the Figuarts Sailor Moon, and I had Stephanie sign this. I also have the Figuarts Tuxedo Mask. Unfortunately, this did not arrive until after I was at the convention. Kind of a bummer. So Robbie signed this as well. So that was kind of bad, but you know what? One figure, two signatures. It works out all well in the end. And if Robbie ever comes back, I will definitely have him autograph this, because these things are cool. And there was one in the dealer's room, but I believe someone in particular, who you may or may not see on camera, was trying to snag it. So whether or not they did, I don't know. So I'm just going to put these back over here, where they will stay out of the way. Something else, who is the next people? Oh yes, the Kill La Kill people were here. And I say that dismissively, but I don't mean it like that at all. Personally, I've never seen Kill La Kill. I've only read about it and seen little snippets of it, so I don't really have a great familiarity with it. However, I did want to make sure I picked up the signatures from the actresses, Carrie Keegan and Erica Mendez. So I went, looked at their Wikipedia, like most people will, and I found a couple things they had done. For Carrie, I heard to mention Neptunia, MK2. And this actually proved to be surprising for me and her, because she's told me that she liked this game because it gave her an opportunity to play against her type, which all actors apparently really like to do. You know, who knew? And for Erica, I went further back to, I guess, her first real big role, which was Pac-Man. There's her signature right there. And according to her, she told me that I was the first person to bring up Pac-Man at the convention when I had the sign, I believe, on Saturday. So, yeah, Saturday. So that was nice. But it would not be a Metrocon signing without some Scott McNeil signatures. So we went to a couple of so I went for a couple of things that had Scott talking to himself, namely Mega Man and Night Warriors. I could not find the Street Fighter US animated cartoon yet so I went with these. I will have that for next year, and that probably will be one of the things he signs along with something else. I'm not sure yet. So let's talk about some other things. Very quickly, I'm not going to list all of the panels I recorded, just that there was a lot of them. I do want to talk very briefly about the, I guess, panels I missed. Probably the biggest one that I missed was the Five Nights at Freddy's panel, and that has to do with two things. One, camera battery was dead by the time when that panel went on, about, I think, 10 or 11 o'clock. I think it was 10 o'clock, at least. And secondly, my personal battery was dead. I was done for the night. I had been up, doing a lot of stuff. On the other hand, I did sit in the first panel. I actually talked to the person playing Vincent, the eventual Springtrap victim, and they seem to be enjoying themselves, and they did not enjoy One Night at Flumpy's, which made me sad. But that's okay. My roommate attended the second panel as well as the first, and he said he enjoyed both of them. The other thing I wanted to mention very quickly that I got a part of it, but I did not get the whole thing, was one of the Vocaloid game show panels. And that's because I was, again, having camera issues. That's going to be kind of a recurrent theme throughout some of the videos. I do my very best to keep the camera battery charged, and whenever possible just plug it into the wall so that it just can run off that. But you know how it goes at convention, things get hectic. And a couple of the panels get kind of cut short, and I'm sorry about that. I will put either in the description or even in the title, maybe, I'm not sure yet, whether or not a panel is complete or if it's cut off. And if it's cut off, I'll try to explain as best I can remember what happened after the cut off. I'm very, very sorry if your panel is something I recorded and it got cut off, or if there's any other, issues. I'm strictly an amateur videographer in all senses of the word, so if you see something get screwed up in the course of recording, it's probably operator error, and I'm the operator. So please blame me. I understand that if people are salty about that. I did want to talk very briefly about my individual experience beyond the panels. I went through Artist Alley on the first day it was up. Didn't go through it again. That's going to be in the footage. I did not go through it again because some of the artists were putting signs up that says "Do not, no photographs" or such, please. And out of respect for that, I said, okay, I will not take. I didn't want to do that. I only went through the dealer's room once with my video camera. Didn't do it again. The dealer's room is nice. It's very loud, and there's a lot of music playing in the background. And rather than try to do the game of whether or not this music is going to get me nailed for copyright or this music is going to get me nailed for copyright, I just said, okay, we'll do a quick sweep through on the first day or on the second day, rather, I think, and that's it. So rest assured that while there were some pretty great sales, and I'm sure you can see videos on YouTube of people talking about things they picked up, I didn't really see anything I couldn't live without, aside from maybe one of the I guess the anniversary Voltron Lions, the die-cast ones, but that was a tad high, and I wasn't quite willing to pay for that. The other thing I didn't find, which I would have paid for, was a Gorehow axe. That would have been nice to have, especially since we had Doratan and Jaina and Travis plays one of the Night Elves. I can't remember who, I think. So that would have been nice. But, that's how it goes. And my roommate enjoyed himself. He really wants to go back next year, and he's already planning his costumes and dragging his friends into it that I don't know. And, of course, I'm going to try and go again. And I wanted to especially thank Sonia, who I met in the lobby of the Embassy Hotel right after the... Let's just say there was a problem checking in the hotel, and they're gracious people. I do not want to denigrate the reputation at all, but she was great. She was, very welcoming and friendly to us, and that's important. Just like the tone of the convention to be friendly and welcoming to people that are there for the first time. So, shout out to Sonia for, saying hi and not leaving us just awkward strangers in the lobby, so that was nice. And I hope everyone enjoys the Metrocon footage, and I hope it provides you some laughs and maybe some fun memories of what was going on at the convention, and I hope I will see everyone there next year. And until then, bye.